So, good afternoon. It's lovely to speak to you. So, it seems like you've been quiet since 2014. I'm going by IMDb here, and now you're back with this project. What was it that connected you, or how did it find you, and why did you say this is the time for me to make this, like, tell this story?
I did this music video with Dre called "I Need a Doctor" with Eminem, and I kind of turned it into a retrospective on his career. And he told me he was interested in opening up about his life in some form. So we figured, hey, let's do a documentary on your life. This is way before Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
And then I found out that Jimmy was doing a documentary on Interscope. And I was like, wow, this could be incredible to combine both stories, because I knew, I've known both guys for 25 years. And I know that partnership, and I knew how transcendent that would be. But I had no idea it would be this.
And what were some of the moments along the way when you're like, oh my God, this is, did you have a moment with like, this is going to be it? This is the story that people have been waiting for? Because it was something that you were waiting for even, to know more.
Yeah, I knew, listen, I'm biracial. So I knew like black, white, together, Interscope represented that, That's why there's those moments with Marilyn Manson and Tupac matched up together, because I'm trying to push those together because they're the same to me, The first thing we cut was the prologue, that opening scene where the apple deal almost goes bad with the Crip walking the whole thing.
Yes.
That 5 minutes. That's the first thing we cut. And I got goosebumps. I was like, oh shit, this is different. This is special. And it was just trying to find something that wasn't a fluff piece too. So I showed Jimmy, and I was surprised that Jimmy was with it. And that's when I knew, I said, we might have something here,
That's what I really love, the juxtaposition of hip hop and rap culture, and Jimmy's journey and Dr. Dre's journey and it's especially with the violence that emerged through rap culture, but also we don't get to see how much rock had negativity, the tension on that, especially with Marilyn Manson and his videos being banned and stuff. Everything was focused on the East Coast, West Coast beef. Was that a purposeful move, just to say, look, these are pretty much two sides of the same coin?
Yeah, I definitely did that on purpose, because it rap was getting a bad rap, as it should have been in certain respects. But Marilyn Manson was wilding out just as crazy. They're blaming him for Columbine. I mean, that's how bad it was, and all that devil worship stuff. It was all performance art, but that was all coming from the same place, and I saw it as the same thing. I said, Tupac and Manson, it's the same noise. Both rock stars, both out there. Tupac was more physically doing it out in public. Marilyn Manson was appearing, and his performances were, that was a trip.
Just the clips that you had in having the documentary, it was really crazy.
And what's interesting is I knew all these people. Most of these people I knew. I had a friendship with Marilyn Manson. Tupac, I started my career with his first few music videos, Eazy-E. So it was not only Jimmy and Dre, it was a very personal journey for me to, and I love both genres of music too, equally. It's not like I favor hip hop over rock. I some days I just listen to rock, and it gives me the same thing. So it was great to celebrate them together, and
And it definitely came through. And you came up with the '90s renaissance of black film, Menace to Society, Dead Presidents. We grew up in the UK, it reached over to us, so we were definitely influenced by those films for definite. So what was it like for you being a part of that movement at that time?
With the films back then?
Back then, being a part of that movement, because it was like a renaissance, essentially.
Yeah, now I'm 45, and we did Menace when I was 20. Me and my brother were 20, so now I can look back and appreciate that, those opportunities that we didn't have before, and now it's happening again with television and film, where black artists, writers, filmmakers, producers are getting to do things that maybe 10 years ago weren't here. Television's amazing right now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't amazing back then, but what was an independent film back then, like Menace, now you can do in television, So it's just great to be around long enough and have started young enough to where I'm still relatively young and go, oh, wow, this is cool.
And what do you feel about the movement now? Because with Black Panther, Wrinkle in Time, and as you said, the TV land is amazing, Secure Atlanta, and all those other shows. Is it, tweaking your creative juices?
I just think it's awesome that there's all this opportunity out there, because it's not just me or her. It's, dozens of people that just didn't get the opportunity before. So I'm excited now that everyone's getting the opportunity for it to level out, because now you go, there's a lot of quality stuff right now, but you want it to balance out where you're like, all right, what's the competition now? Now I like when artists are making each other better.
Yeah, inspiring others to get on. So what do you think the lay of the industry is like right now? Can it sustain this kind of black renaissance? Do you think there are things in place for this to continue and not be like something that comes and goes and comes back again in 10 years' time?
I think with Black Panther doing $1 billion, an all black cast,
sure.
writer, director, it's like, they can't say that it doesn't travel anymore, and there's other examples. So it'll be here, before it was cyclical. And with the Defiant Ones open was massive in the U.S. We'll see what it does here. It just, artists got to keep doing great stuff, so it's not just a fad or political. That's where the mistake is made, when it's just done for politics.
Right.
It's got to be, now that the door's open, like I said, let's keep making each other better so the door stays open.
Definitely. And lastly, what's next for you? And what do you really want people to take away from this documentary?
Well, what's next for me, I can't say, because there's a lot of thieves out here now. The number one thing I want people to take away from this documentary is what I was surprised by when I was finished with it. The reaction is how inspired people have been by it, and motivated they've been by the stories, the narratives, and how these two guys that came from nothing, not even educated, did and are doing what they're doing, and that the sky's the limit once you find your calling. I think that's the number one thing in this film. It took Jimmy a little longer than it took Dre, but once you find what that thing is, just the focus. And that's the thing they taught me, was how hyper-focused they are,
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.